Hi, this is Political News in 5. Today is April 3rd, 2022. I'm Aisha Osori. And the first thing I'm talking about today is politicking while the country burns. This refers to the rising insecurity and the attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train. Now, on Friday, March 25th, 200 armed men attacked the Kaduna airport, and the attack was foiled. But this barely made a ripple in the news, and it definitely did not make its way into the remarks and the speeches that we heard at the APC convention the next day. But somebody must have been wondering, where did these 200 men go? We found out on Monday, the second attack in 6 months happened on the Abuja-Kaduna train, and this time 8 people died, 26 were injured, 21 missing persons reports have been filed, suspected to be taken by kidnappers, because that's what eyewitness account said, and 184 people are unaccounted for, and we might never know the full picture. Why? Because although the train has capacity for 840 people, the manifest only has about 362 validated tickets. This is how our anyhowness has resulted in a deep tragedy. And so we should know that when we do things this way, in ways that are untransparent, people have complained about the way tickets are sold and bought on this route for years, and nothing has changed. This is one tragedy that highlights what the problem with incompetence is. And speaking of that, Nero has always been blamed for fiddling while Rome burned. And I've always wondered what Romans were doing while Nero was fiddling. And so now I am wondering too what Nigerians are doing as Buhari and the APC fiddle with our lives. And we know that it's the height of election season, and it gives us an indication about who has political aspiration when people within the government begin to sound like the opposition, which is what Rotimi Amaechi, the Minister of Transport, sounded like last week when he talked about the tragedy that happened on the train. He blamed the Federal Executive Council for not approving his contract, his 3 billion naira contract to put sensors on the train tracks, as the reason why the tragedy happened. I'd have liked to think that he felt really unhappy or even responsible, then he would have resigned out of principle. It would have been something that would really shake the government. But of course, nobody ever resigns in Nigeria. Nobody, even in the Nigerian Railway Corporation, has been held accountable, not even the security agencies, who, yes, did a good job of rescuing. But at the end of the day, it's business as usual. Speaking of business as usual, the presidential candidates for aspirants for both PDP and APC, the list is growing longer and longer by the day. As of the end of last week, we have 13 people from PDP, with Wike being the latest to join the list. 5 of those are northerners. 1 is a woman, Diana Tariela. And we will not know for sure until about May 28th, 29th, which is when PDP are going to hold their convention. Now, the autumn-led committee that's supposed to decide on zoning, whether the presidency is going to be zoned to the north or to the south, hasn't come out with a report, but from all indications, it's looking like it's going to be open to all. One of the arguments being made is if you allowed people to buy these forms, which come at a cost of 40 million naira, which is about $100,000, then you've sort of implied that it's open to everyone. We can expect either a consensus type coronation on that day, or we can expect proper primaries like we saw with the APC in 2014. Now, whatever the case, there's indication that the 5 northern candidates plan to come together and pick one from themselves as their own consensus candidate within PDP to go against the southern candidates. This is the tactic that was used in 2010 before the 2011 election, when the northern candidates then, Atiku, Saraki, Gusau, and IBB, were trying to come together to make sure Jonathan didn't get the PDP ticket. Their consensus candidate then was Atiku, but they didn't manage to dislodge JG. Out of those two are still 12 years later trying to be president. Let's see what happens. On the APC side, at least 5 people have declared, with Yaya Bello, the governor of Kogi State, being the latest person to declare. He declared actually just yesterday on Saturday. Amongst many things that he said he was going to make 20 million Nigerians millionaires by 2030. And I saw a very funny remark on Twitter where the person said, well, the Yaya Bello made Kogi millionaires should please come out so we know them, because obviously charity begins at home. Really just too funny. But let's not waste too much time on these people. Let's wait until we know who the candidates are going to be. There are at least 5 candidates too also in the shadows for APC who haven't come out to declare, but it's very clear that they are going to run. So it's a matter of time before we see the list on APC grow also longer. They have till June 3rd to be able to produce their candidates. So we can expect that their decision is going to come around the same time the PDP's decision is coming out. Let's wait and see. And then finally, this what I want to talk about is the Umahi, the governor of Ebonyi, and his deputy are free to stay in power, so say the Court of Appeal, who ruled last week and said that their defection from PDP to APC does not require them to forfeit their seats. I think that's unfortunate. The spirit of previous judgments, which said that we don't vote for candidates, we vote for parties, should at least have influenced the court's thinking. But let's see, maybe this case is going to make it all the way to the Supreme Court. Well, that's it this week from me. I'll just put the reminder out there. Please get your PVCs. And when you get your PVCs, be prepared to vote differently if we want differently. 2023 gives us another chance to battle for the soul of Nigeria. Please do your bit. Stay safe, stay well, and see you next week. Bye.